I'm Dr. Bob Kenovan from the Avalon Clinic.
Hello, I'm Teresa. I'm a clinic nurse here at the Avalon Clinic.
And today's topic is after the pre-op and before surgery. And before we get into that, just want to say that I hear that a recent episode of Oprah had Beauty Around the World, and apparently one of our people saw it and said that what they thought was interesting was that in China they use a lot of bleaching agents to lighten their complexion and make sure they don't have blemishes. Yeah. So that's, I guess, a geographic
Interesting
emphasis. Anyway, we're talking about NPO or after the pre-op.
After the pre-op.
And
for the four most important things
right.
Our patients can remember.
Right. So we had kind of sat down and we had talked about this, what we thought were the most important things they have to remember, and we said that it was number one, choose a good caregiver. Number two, make sure you understand and follow NPO. Number three was avoid smoking. And four was to avoid substances that thin the blood.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you were going to ask me something.
I was going to ask you about
what were the two I thought were the most important? I think was what you
yes,
were going to ask.
Yes, that is one.
Yeah, okay. and the two that I really am adamant on, and probably the most important one, is clearly NPO. And we were talking about how to explain the importance of this, and it's important because in this, right at the end of the esophagus, right at the top of the stomach, is a valve, and that valve closes off. So if you eat something, drink something, it closes off and holds the food and drink in the stomach. Now, what happens is when you go to sleep, that valve that's holding the food in the stomach relaxes. And therefore, anything in the stomach can go back in the esophagus and it can end in the lungs. So it's much like having a balloon full of water that's blown up, and then you're holding it, and then you release that, and all that water squirts all over you. Or in this case, ends up in the lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which could be fatal.
Which could be, it's bad.
Yep.
It's not good. Okay. So that's why that is so important.
Very.
And the other one we said that was very, very important. They're all important.
Yes.
And the other one was stopping smoking.
Stopping smoking.
And many of our patients don't realize that even one cigarette can cut down the blood supply to the skin by half, and therefore interfere with healing and the subsequent result. It is absolutely critical to stop smoking in certain type procedures, such as breast lifts and tummy tucks. We won't even do them if there's even an elevated nicotine level, and sometimes we even check it the day of surgery.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've canceled people because we know their level went up, and it's just not worth it. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. So, what was your feedback on the other areas?
I would say just relaying to the patients the significance of the NPO, smoking, and also remembering to bring their prescriptions to their surgery day.
And what were the medicines that they needed to avoid, that you tell them to avoid, so that they, it doesn't thin the blood?
Sure. Aspirin and aspirin-based products. Also, a lot of our patients are taking fish oils, vitamin E. Those are also things that should be avoided.
Right. Okay. And what are there any medicines like that they can take?
We do have a couple vitamins that we recommend taking.
Well, I was thinking more if they have like a headache or something.
Oh, sure. Of course, Tylenol. They can take Tylenol for any discomfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tylenol's okay.
Yeah.
Almost any other medicine though is a no.
Yes.
So like aspirin, ibuprofen, etc., etc.
Yes.
Okay. Caregiver. What do you tell them about caregiver?
Most of our patients are really good about finding someone who's very responsible and reliable. So those are the two main qualities.
Okay. And they have to be, of course, over 18.
Yes,
That,
over 18.
that's just by regulation of
Yes.
law. Okay. So if you had one thing that you think from dealing with the patients and talking with them at the pre-op, what's the one thing you want to emphasize that you know that they sometimes don't realize the importance of and you think is very important?
Sure. Definitely the NPO. Absolutely nothing to eat or drink past midnight.
Yeah. And many of you may have actually heard my sandwich light protein story. Okay, so good. Thank you.
Thank you.